is the Americans have presented a 15-point plan. I think it's fair to say that the 15 points are pretty much what they demanded of Iran before they went to war with it. Iran said no then they went to war. Now they've gone back, made the same demands, and it looks like Iran has said no once again.
Yeah, that doesn't
So
sound like
I don't
progress, I guess.
know. Yeah, it doesn't look like progress, does it? No, no. But I
What
mean,
do you think
they're talking.
is
Yeah.
the fact? I mean, Scarlett and I were just saying, just the fact that they're talking feels a little bit better.
I guess so. I mean, it's an interesting question about good and bad. I mean,
Right.
obviously, from the most perspective abroad, everybody would like this thing to come to an end. I've just written a story that we put on the Bloomberg Wire a couple of hours ago that says in this country, in Israel, that is not the goal. The goal is victory, not stopping the war. So,
Mm.
the idea is to stop Iran from having the capacity to threaten Israel and the region any longer. And if the war stops, that won't happen unless it stops on under the terms that President Trump has put forward, and that doesn't seem very likely.
At the same time, Iran is moving forward. For instance, it's been able to export a lot of oil, make a lot of money by sending oil to China, for instance. It's also
True.
charging some ships a transit fee to
To go
get through the
through.
Strait of Hormuz.
Mhm.
So financially, they're pocketing some money.
They are. I'm not sure you'd let us change places with them. They're losing all their infrastructure, but pocketing a few bucks in oil. I mean, sure. Look, I am not saying that the war is going great from the American perspective. I don't know. It's very difficult for us to assess. And there's always a propaganda war underway. At the same time, there's an actual physical war, an attempt to persuade the other side to back down. And it doesn't look at the moment that either side is. Now, it is also true that from an American perspective, rising oil prices and all this kind of stuff for what is seen to be a war of choice is causing a lot of political trouble for the president. And in Iran, I think there's less political trouble. It's, after all, an authoritarian situation. So, and they may be willing to put up with a lot more suffering
Mm.
than the West is. We shall see.
Ethan, if President Trump were to decide to end this war, for whatever reason he sees fit, is it a fair assumption that Israel will go along with that?
It's a fair assumption,
Okay.
yes. I mean, as much as this country would like to see it completed appropriately, um, it is much more important to it to maintain its strong relationship with the United States, with this administration. And it is certainly made clear that it will take its cue from the president on this. Absolutely.
Ethan, what are you looking at next? How are you determining how to kind of keep score here?
I'm trying not to keep score. I'm not really sure it's all that useful for me. I mean, there are a bunch of things we're watching all at once. One is the level of attacks by the Iranians on their neighbors and on Israel. So those have gone down to some extent.
Hmm.
In the first days of the war, there were maybe 75 or 80 a day here, and now there are about a dozen or 8, 10, 12, that kind of thing. Is that because the Israelis have successfully taken out their launchers? Possibly. Is it because the Iranians are husbanding their stuff? Possibly. Another issue, of course, is in addition to the growing international and markets pressure to end this thing, is the interesting fact that the Emiratis and the Saudis seem now, although they didn't want this war to happen, more enthusiastic about ending it along the same lines as Israel's argument has been, because they feel there's a sort of Damocles hanging over their heads with these Iranian attacks of the last week. So will that make a big difference? It'll make some difference. And of course, are there going to be airborne ground troops from the Americans heading there? Looks like they are in the coming days. So there's a lot that we're watching, a lot.